Yuri, how did you come to Morris? Were you born and raised here?
No, actually I have a long story before I came to Morris. Me coming to Morris was kind of it's kind of a longer story. I was born in Russia, and my parents moved to the United States when I was about 2 years old in 1991. That was when the coup was in Russia, so my family got a visa, or my dad did, to get to work in the United States, and then he sent for my mom and myself. And then they separated, and my mom and I lived in Boston while she got her PhD. And when she got her PhD, she was looking for jobs, and she came out to Morris as a computer science professor. And that was when I was in 9th grade. So I was in Morris from 9th grade all the way through my college years, and about 6 months afterwards as well. So it was about 8.5 years.
8.5 years in Morris.
Yep.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yep.
That's a pretty quick, brief story of how you
I
came
tried to
over
make
here.
it quick, yeah.
What part of Russia then?
I was born in Moscow.
Moscow, wow, the big capital city.
Yep. Mostly a lot of people are in the Moscow area.
Oh, okay.
And my parents are both educated. They went to very good math schools. They're both kind of math geniuses, and they both work with computers. So that's how my dad got a job in the United States, is because he's very, very good with computers. So
yeah, the technology world, I guess.
Yep, that's right.
That's cool. So, do you speak a little Russian then?
Yeah, Russian was actually my first language. I learned English kind of through public television, so I watched a lot of Sesame Street and things like that before I went to kindergarten. And then in kindergarten I picked up English pretty quickly. So yeah, I don't have an accent now, but I do have an American accent when I speak Russian a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Just because I don't speak Russian that much anymore. So
cool.
Only when I'm with family.
Oh, okay. Well, that's... And that's pretty much brings up to the Spanish topic. I think the first time I heard about you was when you were involved with teaching or helping translate with West Bank, right?
Is that what you Riverwood? Riverwood Bank, yeah.
Yeah, Riverwood.
Yep.
Cool. How did you get yourself in that? Like, how many years of Spanish did you take? And...
I had a very good teacher in high school in Wendy Roberts, and we've had a very close relationship throughout my life since then. But she basically, she's a great Spanish teacher, and I picked it up fairly quickly, and so I decided to stick with it. So after I went to high school, I had kind of a little bit of a grasp on Spanish, but when I went to the university here in Morris, she also went to the university as well the same year. She was a high school teacher, and then she moved on to the university. I didn't take any of her classes, but I was still encouraged to take Spanish classes, so that became one of my majors. And my junior year, actually it was going into my senior year of college. Wendy Roberts, that professor, she approached me, and she was like, well, Riverwood Bank is looking for a Spanish speaker, and they asked me if I know anybody. And she was like, well, I thought of you. So, you know, that's when I started at Riverwood as a Spanish-speaking teller. And mostly I was just there because there is a big Spanish-speaking community here, and we need to cater to that. So I think Riverwood had the right idea in hiring somebody else. Patty Kill was already there, and she was dealing with a lot of those things, but they needed extra help. So that's where I fit in.
Wow, cool. And the teller.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Were you like drive-through, or that was more inside?
Well, it was both.
Oh, okay.
You know, I would have to close up the place, and that's when you're only drive-through for like that last hour. But I was just sitting at the teller line. There were usually 2 or 3 of us, and whenever a Spanish-speaking person came in, then that would be my job. So.
Were they pretty surprised when they came up?
Yeah, it took a while, actually.
Spanish.
Huh?
The customers were surprised
that I speak Spanish. Yeah, because I was, you know, who's this gringo trying to speak Spanish to me. Yeah, it took a little bit. There was like this awkward period in the first, I think, couple weeks where they came up to me, and I didn't know if I wanted to like say right away, hola, or, something like that, just because I don't want to, that's okay, just because, I'll take that, I didn't want to speak Spanish right away to them, just because I just see that as a little bit offensive. I just wanted to ease my way in, so I got a little placard that said, hablo español. And if they want to speak Spanish, then they can. And, over time, I built relationships with, I think, pretty much every Spanish speaker that came in there. Wow. And I knew their name, and I knew their family, and I got really invested in all of their lives, and I got really touched by all their stories. So that kind of brought upon more work within the Hispanic community.